Rob Jackson, of Midwest rep for Marcoliani out of Italy, Socks, Belts, Torino out of New Orleans, and Wiggins Caps out of Sweden, and Luciano Visconti out of Sportswear out of New York City. I got started working part-time while I was going to school with Richards in Greenwich. It's a very well-known high-end store in Greenwich, Connecticut. And I would work there Christmas breaks, summer breaks. And I met the Hartshafter Marks rep there. And he said, if you ever want to go to wholesale, I'll meet you in New York and introduce you to everybody there. So I took a day off, took the train into New York, went to the Hartshafter Marks office, and I left there with a job and quit Richards, started Hartshafter Marks. That started me on the wholesale side of things. Well, Hartshafter Marks back then was the 800-pound gorilla. Everybody wanted Hartshafter Marks in their stores. It was made in America, it was high-end, and it retailed very well. And the quality was there, was made in Chicago. And so we sold a lot of suits, a lot of sport coats, a lot of trousers. And working for a huge corporation, at one point it was almost $1 billion corporation because they also owned stores too. But I had the accessories. They bought a shirt company, they bought a tie company, and they combined them for Hartshafter Marks. And so I traveled New England and some of the mid-Atlantic states for Hartshafter Marks. And you're pretty much in season, you're pretty much gone all week. You drive up to wherever on Sunday, then work your way back home, and by Friday you're home. But this is only for maybe 6-8 weeks a season, and then the rest of the time you're either in the New York office, selling out of the New York office, or just helping out. So you're either traveling away from home or you're in the New York office. Within a year, a lot of the mills in Canada kind of went out of business. Business just dropped off because Korea took over, China took over, Turkey took over, and they were undercutting the Canadian mills. You could get just as nice goods for half the price, half the price. They're not wearing tailored clothing anymore compared to back in the day. Suits, sport coats. Now it's all casual. Even at the corporate level, they've gone casual. They're not enforcing a dress code. Unless you're high-end in the financial industry, attorneys, they're still buying the suits and the sport coats and the tuxedos for the black tie events. But I think the industry is gone, that pendulum has swung from tailored clothing to sportswear. And unfortunately, I think it's our fault because we came up with Casual Friday. Guys didn't know how to dress casually. They thought, well, cargo shorts and a stained polo shirt is casual because that's what they wear on Saturdays. Then it turned into Casual Thursday, Casual Wednesday, and pretty soon they weren't enforcing dress codes at a lot of these corporations. Absolutely, absolutely. Even just with a fancy sport coat, you can wear a nice shirt underneath without a tie, some casual dress slacks, something pleated, maybe without a belt loops. Look, it's a hip look. And there's a gazillion pant manufacturers out of there. You can find all kinds of fits, all kinds of styles. Same with sport coats. And you would look like you're fairly sophisticated, you know what you're doing, you care about your appearance, without buying a three-piece suit. But I think, yeah, I would hope a lot more of these companies would enforce a dress code, and I hope guys wouldn't even need that motivation. They think, well, if I'm going to the office, I think I should look professional, you know? And I go to my bank and they're wearing royal blue polo shirts and khakis. And it's like, it's a bank. You should be wearing a suit and tie. I'm old school, I guess. I think so. I mean, first impressions are first impressions, but someone shows up in a suit and tie. I'm thinking this guy gets it. He's professional. He cares. I just wish, the young, someone just getting out of college, I think the first thing they should do is go out and get a suit. Something to interview in. You're going to need it anyway if you're going to an event, a wedding, or what have you. That's the first thing they should do. And unfortunately, they're going out and they're buying either a suit online, sight unseen, and they try it on and it obviously doesn't fit. Or they're going to a store and they'll buy the $399 buy two, get one free type thing. And it looks like it. But when you have a store like Brass Horn, everyone working at Brass Horn knows what they're doing. They all dress nice. That's where people need to go, not online and not to a Macy's. And but stores like this, they're not all over the place. This is like a gem of a store in the middle of Illinois. If every town had a Brass Horn. Whew. Yeah, Marcoliani out of Milan. They're in between Milan and Lake Como. Paolo, the CEO, his father started raising silkworms in the attic. And then he had a friend, he said, you should weave something with all this silk you have. And he says, I know somebody who's got an old couple sock machines that he's not using. Why don't you try making socks? So this guy, Paolo's father, brought these machines into the cellar, started making socks, started selling them to, the neighbors and family. And it just took off. And now we're in 18 countries, and we're here in the States, we're considered the premier sock. So it's just a very well-run business, rock solid, and each season we come out with new dress socks. So it's a great company to work for. It's just a great sock, great value. I mean, bang for your buck. It's not the most expensive sock out there. It's not the cheapest, but dollar for dollar, it's probably the best value going right now for socks. Comfort is a big thing. People, we sell a lot of cotton because it's comfortable. What Paolo does, he doesn't chase the cheapest cotton. He deals with the same supplier he's been dealing with for years and years and years. He pays them extra so the cotton is picked by hand, so it's not damaged by the machines. So it's a very strong, long fiber. So it's going to be very comfortable, very comfortable. And it's there's a certain delta in the Nile where the soil is the best for growing cotton, and that's where he gets it. So he pays a little extra for a higher quality cotton, so it's comfortable on your feet. And the wool, same thing, he gets the finest wool, and the finer the wool, the more, the kinder the hand is. So it's all about comfort. And then when you make the sock, the reinforcement of the heel and the toe and the band are probably, we have a larger toe, a larger heel when it comes to being reinforced than the competition. Most of the socks manufactured are either cotton or wool. But we have modal. We have the worldwide exclusivity for modal, which is the pulp from a birch tree. It's an expensive process to make into yarn, and but it gives you the hand of cashmere, but you can wash it and throw it in the dryer, and it takes a beating. So it's it feels like cashmere, but you can treat it like any other sock. If you take a 100% cashmere sock and you throw it in the washer and dryer, it's ruined. The modal washer dryer, not a problem. It holds its color, it holds its shape, and it feels like cashmere. And linen, we've got every spring we'll come up with a new linen collection, and stripes, prints, paisleys, dots, sells very well for spring because he uses a linen. Nowadays, linen is just as soft as the cottons or the wools, but the colors are a little bit more vibrant. And for some reason, it looks like a spring-summer sock. And the colors, they don't fade, they're bright, they pop, and it's still as comfortable as a cotton sock or a cashmere sock, even though it's linen. But linen is a pretty strong fabric too, so it takes a beating. A nice pair of dress socks it brings the whole outfit together, kind of like the cherry on top, you know, because the socks, we have all kinds of colors, stripes, polka dots, whatever. And with a little bit of color, a little bit of pop, you can take a solid suit, but with a nice fancy striped sock, it kind of elevates the outfit. It puts it all together. You can take a navy blazer, a gray pair of trousers, and you know, a polka dot, a light gray with a black polka dot sock. It pops a little bit. It's you know, you will be noticed because it's not blending in. It kind of pulls everything together and gives it a more sophisticated look to your outfit. And it's just a sock, but it could really make or break an outfit, that's for sure. Yeah, the no-shows. We have a sneaker no-show and we have an original no-show. Now with a shoe like this, I could do the sneaker because it's a little higher on the arch, it's higher in the heel. And we have the no-show, which is very low on the arch. If you're wearing loafers, you don't want it to show. And this season we came out with an even lower loafer, where a lot of the better Italian slip-ons are very low on the arch, on the side. So we came up with an even lower sock. So we have the original no-show, we have the new loafer, and we have the sneaker. And in our sock business, it's 37% of our business is that invisible sock. So it's growing steadily as time goes on, because right now, as we speak, 80% of the guys are wearing a sneaker or a sneaker type shoe. And they can use these for golf and tennis and working out, whatnot. So it's that category is growing, probably the fastest category in the sock business, at least our sock business. If you want to buy a sock, a premier sock in Illinois, Central Illinois, Brass Horn.